So, automation, certainly automation, when we developed our tool presetters, they measure automatically. My father had the idea for the demo show in, I think it was 97 or, yeah, 97 I think, that we set up a tool presetter with an automatic loader for cutting tools. So we set up a setup where we could load 14 tools automatically in our tool presetter, measure them and put it back. And it was really an excellent show to just show that our tool presetter can measure automatically. And then later, out of that system, we put in the basement, we developed when our automatic came out in 2002, we developed a setup where we could shrink 14 tools automatically in this new shrink fit presetter. So then we use that for automation. And for our Genius machine, we developed in 2005 an automatic handling system to load cutting tools. 77 tools could be stored in the Genius machine with a mechanical loader that we also did. And then, but nobody bought anything like this. It was just for showing, just for concept and idea. And then in 2011, or 2009 actually, I visited a company in Australia. They make cutting tools, and they said, Mr. Zoller, we see your thing, it's a 77 tool, but this is nothing. We need a robot. Why you not use a cutting 6-axis robot? Robot, we have no idea how this is working. And then I went back and again I talked to my father and said, okay, how do we do it? And then we developed the first system with a 6-axis robot to load cutting tools in our inspection machine. And this was in 2011, we came out with it, and was the start for us for automation. And out of that, we developed for our tool inspection machines a system to load cutting tools automatically. It's called RoboSet. We have RoboSet 1, RoboSet 2. That's the technology we have available. In 2015, we suddenly, I don't know from where it came, I say one morning we woke up, we got an order from an American company to say we have here 13 production machines. We use heat shrink tool holders, and we want a system where we take the tool card from these machines, put them in some sort of automation system. Tools need to be taken out of the carrier, washed, disassembled, sorted for resharpening, make like a sealing on the holder, shrink them again together with a new tool, put them in a cart so we can take the tools out. And we got this inquiry from a good customer from us in America, and then we said, okay, we can work with a 6-axis robot, maybe we can do that also. So we made a rough calculation and said, okay, we do that. How much time? 16 months. And then 4 weeks later we had an order. We said, oh. and then we had to do that thing, and then we said 16 months is a long time, because usually our machines we make in 8, 16 weeks and finished, and now we have such a long time, and we did it, and actually it took them close to 3 years to finish that system. But the customer also had some delays in their processing, and then they came for the runoff to Germany. We had some video calls at that time already, but then they accepted it, and we packed it and shipped it to America. And on the way to America, there came maybe a Rolls-Royce submarine and shoot that carrier that this thing was on, and the whole system was diving and was lost. It's certainly a joke, but it was really like that. This big company, we got this automation system to America, we did the setup, and then they said we don't need it anymore. We changed the processing, we don't have HSK 100 anymore, we have now HSK 30 something, we changed it, so we installed it, but it was never really put in a full production. I said to my brother, well, in Germany you have a lottery, when you have 6 correct, you win 1 million or 5 million or 20 million. I said, when I got this news, I said, okay, today we maybe got a 6 in the lottery. Because that's only automation is a different level than just providing a tool presetter. So we were aware of that already at that time. But we took the task, and at that time we established an automation department in our company. And for us, it was clear that somehow we need to get into this automation and get really a system. And for us, it was also clear that we cannot take an order like this from this American customer who has their special ideas and how to do it, because at the end we cannot support it. If every customer gets something special, we are not an automation company, we are a standard company. See, our machines are standard. We want to build them in a serial, and the same idea we said we want to have also for the automation. And so we did some sort and some processing, and then we came up with what I'm showing now, is that for our automation we have developed a flexible modular automation system, and this is components. Like you see over there, our Hyperion presetter, this is maybe our most complex tool presetter, because there you can have a turntable with different stations, and the customer can decide what stations they want, what optic they want. So it's a machine with many options and many configurations. You maybe don't see to that machine, but it really has many options available, and we can manage that well. And the same, we set up our automation system so that we have standard options available, where we can also control the function, where we can control the price, because it's not a surprise for us when we build something, we always build the same. This is our goal for this system, and if a requirement from a customer is not fitting in that setup, then we also say no, because we are not a company like automation where you go and say, I want this or that, and then they make it. I met a company in South Germany, unbelievable, they make automation solutions for medical parts. When I was there, they set up a robot cell with 14 robots to assemble very small things in some hoses. You need a precision accuracy from 10 microns to put it inside. It was really amazing what they did in this whole thing, and they just put the parts there, and it comes out, and they calculate it and build it one time and give to the customer. This is their business. This is not our business. Our business is we want to have a flexible modular system to handle automation. And that is my brother Alexander. And here we have developed a setup where this picture you see, usually we have in the cutting tools, all the work is mostly manual. If you look at your CNC machines, they have automatic parts loading, they have certainly an ATC, automatic tool changer, but to prepare the tools and move tools, things are manual. So for this to move away from the manual to the automatic, we have designed a concept which we have now basically ready available. So to have automation system available to move cutting tools automatically. And for this, we have structured our product in 3 ranges. So one is a Cora logistic, which you see here, Zoller load box and Zoller row box. And these are systems. Logistic is easy to explain. Logistic is moving tools, moving tool components in a factory, and this can be flexible setup depending on the setup of the customer. Load box is an automatic storage system to provide cutting tools automatically to a production application. So if we have, it must be not even a big company, a small company. Today in Germany, and I think in the UK it's maybe the same, they buy a probe machine. Nobody will buy a probe machine today anymore without automation. They buy a probe machine and there's a parts automation available, because this machine should run best 24 hours, 7 days a week. But it is actually not doing like that, because often the cutting tools are missing. So when they go to probe and say, okay, this is my product range, how many tools, then they come out with the standard tool changer, then they add a tool changer with 150, 160, 200 tools or more to provide the cutting tools for these parts. But then over time the business is always dynamic, then the product range changes at the customer. A tool fails in the night and it has to be changed, and then still the system will stop because tools are missing. And that's the reality what we see in many of our customers, even in our own suppliers, where they have a helper machine with automation for parts and the tool changer, and still the machine doesn't work from Friday afternoon until Monday morning. Even if theoretically it should, but it doesn't because something happens with cutting tools. And for this we have designed our load box that we can provide cutting tools also off shift when nobody is available to the machines. RoboBox is a flexible system to assemble cutting tools, shaft tools. So this system will assemble automatically shrink fit holders, hydraulic, power chucks, Regofix, power grip. Those shaft tools can be assembled automatically. What we are working for is inserts. This we have not achieved yet. This RoboBox is for assembly. Yeah, so now to show the setup. Certainly what I already explained, the tool availability is the limiting factor. So for this, our automation system should be able to provide cutting tools 24/7, 7 days a week to machines. So this is the idea, to set up a system that cutting tools are available constantly for the machines, depending on the requirement at the machines. Yeah, the profitability, how to calculate that. Yeah. First of all, cutting tools have to be at the CNC machine. Then the investment in a CNC machine is the external tool storage. So if you imagine you buy 3 growth machines and you have all this parts information, and then each machine needs then an extended tool magazine for 150, 160, 180 tools. Then you need to buy the tool changer and you need to buy the tool inventory which is in that magazine. And this for each of the 3 machines to provide the automation. So this is also an investment we would like to eliminate with our automation, because we have a central tool stock from where cutting tools are provided to the machines. Then the space requirement is also there. If you have a machine and you have an extended tool magazine, it also requires space, so you can save the space. And then what I already mentioned, the stock of cutting tools, so you can use your cutting tools more effectively. Here I have a good example because this is not only available with automation system, it is already available with the ZOLLER TMS software. We had an installation in Ford Motor Company in America where they just buy our tool resetter, and then they bought also our tool management software. And we connected in this one factory 200 Hüller-Hiller-Specht machines to our TMS software. And we know from all the 200 machines the actual tool life in the machine. And by just knowing that fact, which tool will be at which time out of tool life, we could reduce them 3 sets of tools. Because the tool grip know exactly that in half hour it needs a tool at this machine, in 45 minutes at that machine. And before they didn't know this exactly, they knew the information, but they didn't have compiled it together. And for this they put tools out in the production line so that the operators can take the tools out of tool cabinets and put them in the machine. All this was eliminated by our software, and we just had for them a clear list of which tools have to be provided to the machine at what time. And it helped them to, in this one factory, to reduce the tool inventory by nearly $2 million by just have a big number of cutting tools saved in cost. So this is certainly a big investment always in cutting tools, which can be also with the automation saved. And then certainly also energy cost is important. If you have an extended tool magazine, is the energy, if it's always fully loaded, there is quite an energy cost involved in it. And then certainly last but not least, if your CNC machine is not operating, then you don't get the profitability. So here you also have savings. So all these 6 points are speaking for a new way of organizing cutting tools for a production facility. Yeah, and for this we have basically a shop floor where you see here different numbers. Then first of all, number 1 is sort of TMS software, where we have software language. So far we had a FAT client. What is a FAT client? A FAT client is a software which is installed in your customer server or in your server, and then in every workstation you have to install some sort of software that you can use it. So our next generation TMS software is a web-based software, so you don't need to install it anymore. You can run it on tablets, on computers which are connected to your network, and with that new version of TMS software, we developed also the software for our automation solution. So all what is controlling the different things is all in our TMS software. It's basically like a button when you get later presentation for our tool organizer or keyboard. When you take a tool out, you push a button, and then the tool you can take out. The same is, okay, I want to take that tool to the machine, you push a button. So 2 weeks ago we had a famous company from Great Britain, from England in our company there, and one member said, I want to bring a tool from here to this machine. So in our test field, we just went to our software, pushed a few buttons, and then it started, and it took a tool and bring it to the system, to the machine. So here the big advantage of the Zoller software and system is that this is a software with a very good user interface where an operator can easily get used to it, how to operate the system. So this is number 1. Number 2, important is the tool grip, so where the tools are prepared. And there you see certainly our TMS hardware, where you see a reference example, our power shrink, our tool balance, our tool resetter, and a station where when the tools are prepared, the operator places them in a tool cart. And so this is something where also the advantage from our automation solution is that you can do it step by step. So often companies have already a tool grip, and they can use that tool grip to provide the cutting tools for the automation. Later in the next step, they can move then from number 2 to number 3 is the Zoller notebooks, where then the tools are handled automatically to the tool area. And step number 4 is that before they assemble the tools manually, later they can use our overbooks and assemble tools automatically. So these are options in the tool grip area. And number 5 are the CNC machines, where then stations are set up because tools have to come to the machine, and they are provided automatically there. And then the best level is that the robot is changing the tool in the machine automatically, but it also is available in the first step that the operator change the tools, what he will receive in the machine, and take the tools out which he doesn't require. So these are the players in the production, and we can introduce this here in more detail. So number 1 is our TMS software with related functions for the different features. Number 2 is for the transportation. We have special carriers like our Cora transporter, where tool holders are loaded. And number 3, our load box is a storage system where we connect our robot with an interface to our transporters to collect tools automatically out of stock. Number 4 is our overbox for the assembly, also connected to Cora Logistics. And number 5 is the machines, and here we bring this with our Cora Express. Certainly we don't build these HEVs. In our case we use here one from here. On the top is a blade which we developed to connect to our tool carriers. Yeah. The basic for automation is often, if you think, so how do I automate my workshop? The basic is what we always say, tools have to be organized. Because if there's a chaos and there are uncontrolled tools, to automate something like this is difficult. So for this, we always recommend the first step is use only a tool presetter for high precision tool measurement, use the Zoller stock system or the stock system to manage the cutting tools well, which can be done with the Zoller TMS software. And this is a start, because if the tools are handled well, then to automate that, it's much more easier, because the tool data is already available. If a customer today already invested in TMS and have all their tool data available, with our automation, they just get another software module and they use the data which they already have for the automation. Stock management, TMS software, and then a modular expansion of different modules are then available. So then Cora Logistic, we have here a system set up where we have different players involved. So it's basically like a Lego system where you can start with some components and build them depending on your setup. So here we have a concept, just for an idea, is that certainly cutting tools can be provided to a machine automatically and transported back. So here's a standard tool room. So here on the right side where the presetter is and the stock is a standard tool room, which can be your tool room, which you already have. And then we can add tool cards and software, so that based on job orders, tools are prepared, put in the cart, and then brought to the CNC machine, and the operator has it and can change it manually. So this is first concept where we have already several companies who have this on their list to start in that fashion. Then the next concept is that at the CNC machine to change the tools automatically. This is certainly the best if this can be achieved, because then it is possible that you can operate your machines independent from the availability of an operator at the machine itself. We have first installation done for this in the United States, and even after this was running for 4, 6, 8 weeks, the operator said this is unbelievable that we don't have to worry anymore by the tools. Because this is a concept also at that customer for 2 machines at the moment, one a mill turn center, the other is a milling machine, and the tools are just provided automatically to the machine and changed over, and used tools are brought back. And this without that an operator is at the CNC machine. This is certainly, this is where we think in the next years will be more and more a standard. But we cannot do it by ourselves. We need machine builders for that, to develop the interfaces, to develop the software for this. So in this example in the United States, the machine builder developed it. In our smart factory, we have a machine where also the machine builder developed it, but we have seen that this is not a work which is done overnight. This takes some time to finish that completely. We on our side, we are ready for that. We have developed our software that we have a clear interface available, so it doesn't matter which machine it is. But on the machine side, here there is always a task which has to be followed up. But we assume in the next years will this more and more be a standard. Because today when we look in the manufacturing floor, many things are already automated, but the cutting tools not yet, and it will go there 100%. Further concept is like to measure tools automatically. Certainly this picture you see in the front is a presetter with a robot connected. I showed this in our smart factory video, which we have also set up so that an operator who is assembling the tools, as usually there may be 30 tools and we have to stand there next to the presetter, put them in, Sometimes customers have tool ID, just push a button and then wait until the tool is measured, take it out, put the next one in, and wait until it's measured. And this is also something we can already automate, that the tools are assembled by the expert, moved to the tool presetter, push a button, and then continue the work and prepare the next tools, and the tools are measured automatically. Yeah, there we have, like, our Lego system consists out of our Cora Express. This is the HEV which is moving with the Zoller adapter plate. Then we have Cora Transporter. We have different versions. We have one with vertical loading and horizontal loading, so depending on the application. For one customer in China, we made this Cora Transporter for 180 tools. A huge thing, with a huge HEV to bring tools to big machines, and they just use it for transporting the tools. Then we have docking station. So this docking station is that we always connect these transporters at the end location to a fixed point. We have the warning light, so we can always warn an operator in the area if a cart is coming for docking. And there we also have an RFID system to know that which cart is at which location. So in our software you see exactly always where there are the different carts available. Then we have our Cora arm, which we can use stationary or on a transport vehicle. So we can move this arm from a presetter to a machine, from one machine to another machine. So to use here a flexible setup. We have a Cora control, because as soon as a robot takes a cutting tool, even that it's a collaborative robot, because it's a sharp edge, you need to secure the area. For this we have laser scanners, so we can easily scan a fence to that when an operator comes closer, it gets lower. When it comes even closer, it will stop. And then the last one is our Cora Dock Professional. This is a Cora Dock Professional which we need for the Cora arm, which is movable, because then we need power and network connection that we can control the robot arm depending on the setup. Yeah, so now these are the different options which we have available, and now when a customer has a project, we can use these options to map out how an automation system could be started with maybe 1-2 machines and then expanded in the future. We have now in Germany a customer already now close to buy this another one of these systems. They have one machine which they can automatically load and 4 machines which they just have the operator to load the tools. So for such setup for 5 machines, they will now invest in this system. Another part to point out is for the automation, because many know automation is always something fixed. So you know, okay, you have here parts, and then the parts have to go from location A to location B, or from B back to A, and it's always the same setup. The difference in our automation system is that cutting tools are very dynamic, because this Cora Transporter has sometimes maybe only 1 tool, or has 5 tools, or 10 tools, or 20 tools, depending on what order is available. And our system is our tool management and our stock management. We always know what is the configuration of tools in these carts, and then we can control our robot always dynamically what setup is available. This was also for us quite a development in our software, that we can really use this completely flexible, so that it's not a fixed programming, so it's a completely variable programming depending on the situation and condition of the situation in the production. And then for every module we have the software set up, and again, yeah, you maybe know also automation systems where you are asked to use a funnel panel or some other software to operate it, which is more complex. In our case, all operation is through our software, so it's quite easy for an operator to understand how to operate the system. Yeah, so then ZOLLER Notebooks, the next product. So here we connect a shuttle system. So that the shuttle system is not we don't make by ourselves. It can be a Cardex, can be a handle, can be a different supplier, modular from Italy, for example. We connect there our notebooks, our robot, in order to get tools out of that system. And we have here a setup that certainly the Cora transporter is connected over the same interface to these notebooks, and then the robot inside take from the shelf the cutting tools and load them in these transporters. So it's a central storage. What I said earlier, if there's 5 machines and 5 machines need extended magazines, this can be saved and put the tools in a central storage and then use them according to the demand of the individual machines. And with this also we have a high capacity to store the cutting tools, and it's a fully automatic system to retrieve cutting tools. So you don't need an operator on site. If your machine says tool life end, the system will start, take tool out and bring to that machine automatically. And also the control and management of the notebooks is through our TMS, our web TMS notebook software. Then the third product from ZOLLER is our RoboBox. So our RoboBox, we have an assembly system developed where we can assemble, like I said earlier, shaft tools. So for metering, for power chucks, hydraulic chucks, Regofix power grip, we have this set up available. And the nice part is that this is a modular system, so depending on what the customer would have, we have on the side modules which we can configure accordingly. So we can have a RoboBox with 3 modules or 6 modules, depending on what tools have to be set up. We have a project at a customer which we completed. One side is HSK 50 and the other side is HSK 63. So in one box we handle those sizes. And it can disassemble and assemble cutting tools fully automatic. And also the control is over our RoboBox module in our TMS software. Yeah. So this is our overview for our automation, and that you see that this is also working. We have a video available where we can show you an impression from our system set up in our company in Leidensheim. We have there an automation section built with our new factory where we do the assembly of our different automation items, and then we have available a test field which we use to set up configurations for customers and also to do for us a further development of the system. So here we made a video which shows you or gives you an impression that this is not only a presentation, so these things they are already available and can be used in the actual world. Yeah. Now you see here our Cora Express. On the top, the plate is an indexing plate, and you see that our Cora transporters, they have their own wheels, so they stand on the ground. So for the weight capacity, they carry their own weight. It's not on the HEV. This helps to save also battery life of the HEV. On the side, we have 4 indexing poles, which are indexing in the carrier, and then the HEV is moving that carrier automatically. And from the setup, it is that when we configure such a system, we have the endpoints and we have the area where the HEV can move, and this is programmed in our system. And because of the design of these HEVs, people can still walk around. And then, now in this case, this Cora transporter is docking at the ZOLLER Notebooks, and the position there, the tool carrier for the next operation. So there's a security door which you see is opening, and then in the back side the shuttle brings the tray with the tools, and then the robot takes the tool out and place them in the tool carrier. We have in this load box also a reader station for tools with RFID or with ID chip, which can be then read automatically in order to ensure that the tools are stored at the right location. So all the stocking in and stocking out is done by the robot, so no operator can put it at the wrong location. So then after the tools are prepared, then they go to the location, and then the Cora arm is taking the cutting tool out of the carrier. So in this case it's a HSK 100. We have in our automation system no actual CNC machines. We have some wooden models which have exactly the dimension of the tool changer, and then they can change the tool in the magazine. In our smart factory we change it into the available Chiron FZ16 machine. Yeah, this gives you a first impression about the setup and the technology which we have developed for automation solution for cutting tools. So with the three components, Cora Logistic, Loadbox and Overbox, we are there available to flexibly automate the cutting tool supply to CNC machines. And the projects we have and work on, we know that the trend will be more and more in this direction. So because it will, based on the benefits what I have shown in the presentation, save in several different areas cost and eliminate there the workload what we have there at the moment available. So I hope you have some questions for this.
Do we have any questions, guys? Do you want to just use the mic?
The car dock, does that have power to charge the AGV whilst it's not in use?
The Cora dock has at the moment no power for the, actually you see it here on the side, to charge the power for the AGV. It is a separate station. It has the power to charge the battery for the robot, because when we move the robot from one location, from one machine to another, we cannot shut down the system. It will still run with a backup battery. It can run 25 minutes, and then it will be at the next Cora dock station, and there it will be charged again. But if the HEV has a lower battery life, it will go at a separate station to charge there. We have a battery management in our software, so we control always the battery life, and then we schedule the HEV for recharging accordingly. But we also found out, because we connect the HEV to the Cora system, to our transporter, and the Cora transporter stands on their own wheels, it's a less battery requirement compared to when they lift it and move it around like other systems.
Another question. The throughput of tools per hour from the load box.
Yeah.
How many tools do we deal with
per hour? Okay, per hour I can tell you in 3 minutes we can provision about 12 tools. Yeah, so it's quite fast. Certainly on the video it's a lower range for the robot, but the maximum speed what we measured was in a reference for 12 tools, because this was also for another customer. We could, in 3 minutes, can handle 12 tools, stock out, also from different locations. So it's quite effective.
Is there a maximum number of tools that robots can deal with?
It depends on the height of your building. So if you have a higher building, we can load more shelves in there. Yeah, but HSK 63, I think 8-meter box, HSK 63, 2,000 tools. About.
How does it handle tools, when tools come back from the machine onto their worn and their life is ended, what does it do with those tools, and how does it sort of deal with tools that perhaps have got extended life?
Yeah. Yes. When the tools come back from the machine, then and there's still tool life, then there is a mark for it that they can go back into the shuttle. Then there is a mark when the tool life is ended, then they go back into the tool build area, and the operator there has to deal with it manually and refurbish it. We are working at the moment for a new item which is called a clean box, because cleaning is certainly also a step which has to be handled, which is here not yet considered, but we have some requirements there also. Tool cleaning is required after the tools are taken out. And then there is a cleaning process in between before tools get back in stock or back into the tool build. But in our software, you can imagine an operator who looks in our software, he knows always in which pocket is which tool. So also our robot, for example, when tools come out, like a changeover from one part to another, and it has to deliver 30 tools and take 20 tools out, and there are 10 tools which have tool life, then we can go to the load box and these 10 tools are put back into stock. This memory of the tool life, and the other tools are in the tool book to disassemble. So this our software can handle automatically.
Okay, thank you guys. Any more for any more? No? Okay, I think that concludes really nicely the talks for today, and I personally and on behalf of the team would like to say a huge thank you to Christoph Zoller for taking the time today to come over here from Germany and basically do all the presentations for us. So a massive thank you, and if we could give a nice warm round of applause.